It's Halloween, and what better way to celebrate than with an indie horror title? Having previously looked at the Pagan Games and Hexcraft, and considering a new Hexcraft game has just been released, it's as if fate is on my side. So here it is, Chicken in the Darkness. Chicken in the Darkness is a horror game developed by 3 Korean students. Normally I'd talk about the other stuff the dev team has done, but to my knowledge this is their only game. Korea, on the other hand, brought us such things as Squid Game? Daewoo? The Gangnam Style? I don't know much about Korea, but what I do know about is chicken and the seeking thereof in environments with substandard lighting. The premise of the game is right there in the title, but there's more to it than that. In order to order the chicken, you need your phone from the study room. You traipse across the dorm, get the key, and head into the main classroom building, and oh my god, what the fuck is that? Yeah, there's something really off-putting about the enemies here. In part, I think it's down to the rather effective tension that's been created. I've never attended school in Korea, but this is a setting just relatable enough to most people to get the point across. It feels like you're in a nightmare. You're in a school that feels somehow familiar but off, being chased by some kind of gumbus, all in pursuit of a really simple goal. Chicken. In the darkness. Once you have your phone, it's down to the chemistry lab to grab your charger. Oh yes, you didn't think it'd be that simple, did you? Your phone is dead. Chicken will have to wait. It's also worth noting that this is a game where you might expect the locations of your items to be randomized. Nope. They're always in exactly the same spot. The upside to this is that you can strategize. You can figure out how to lure the gumbus away from the rooms you need to access, and figure out your ideal route once it's in pursuit. You can sprint, but doing so will attract the attention of the monsters. It's around this time that we usually meet a new one. I call it scaryface.png. What makes scaryface.png different from the gumbus is that it's not beholden to your worldly architecture, man. Oh no, it has no clip enabled. There is a trick to it though. Scaryface.png only moves when you do, and it's also not particularly fast. It moves at roughly the same rate you do when walking, but it always knows where you are. Fortunately, it also gives off a haunting noise to alert you to its presence, and this is where we get to talk about the sound design. It ranges from amazing to, well, the gumbus. Honestly though, it sets the scene, and the idea of attaching sounds like the ambient music to a monster are very clever. It's almost Silent Hill-like. The same way the sound of scraping metal is associated with Pyramid Head in that game, and his massive weaponry, so too does the sound conjure haunting images of the gumbus chasing our protagonist down a hallway. I should probably also mention that the gumbus is my name for it. I have no idea what this monster in particular is called. Anyway, it's time to do some admin. Return the key to the security office so you don't get caught with school property on you, and grab your wallet from a classroom. Finally, our goal is in sight. All we have to do is grab our phone, order the chicken, and pick it up. Don't get too comfortable though. A new enemy type is introduced here. The concept art calls it the Witch, but it really looks like an elementary school kid's failed craft project. We're running on Weeping Angel logic here. It moves when you don't look. There's also one more monster in store. The Tree Demon, or Treeman, as I call it. Most of the trees are perfectly normal, but a couple are actually Treemans. And listen, this review has been a little tongue-in-cheek so far, but the Treemans are actually pretty brilliant. They look horrifying and have arms for eyes, and the hideous sound they make is genuinely frightening. Remember, you're still on edge from the witches at this point, and scaryface.png is most likely breathing down your neck. There are no saves in this game. You're at the end, and failure means starting all over. You need this. And suddenly, a tree becomes your worst nightmare. It's genuinely great. Still, run this gauntlet and you'll be rewarded with some surprisingly well-lit chicken. I mentioned before that there's no randomization to the item locations, and I worry people might misconstrue that to mean there's no replay value to this game. What fools those fools would be, woe be upon them. No, there is a veritable fuck-ton of concept art just scattered around the school, as well as one secret mode. In fact, it's so secret I'm not even sure the developers know about it. Look to the floor, and pause. When you unpause, you'll be in upside-down mode. Like Lionel Richie, you're dancing on the ceiling. Sprint is disabled when upside down, but as we've established, that can be more of a liability than an asset anyway. Anyway, Chicken in the Darkness really gets to the heart of horror. While you do have a pair of charming roommates, the bulk of the game is taken on alone. Isolation is a key element in most forms of horror. Additionally, we experience alienation, again the subversion of expectations when it comes to unfamiliar dangers in a familiar setting, and it certainly makes one feel out of place. It's as if we've walked in on something mankind was not meant to see. What's more, we experience an awful lot of xenophobia in the form of the monsters. All of them are very off-putting, and again, meant to express a sort of otherness. And finally, the sense of nihilism. There is no purpose in the game but the chicken. It's an exercise unto itself. There's nothing deeper to it. And at the end of the game, we find out that, well, I won't spoil it, but let's just say nihilism is on the menu. Given all those criteria, I think you could almost call this game Lovecraftian in nature, but I'd have to consult with an expert. Is this game any good? Well, obviously it is. You can tell just from the footage. This is peak indie horror. Did I have fun? Untold amounts. Untold. I'd tell you how much, but then it'd be told. Would I recommend it to others? At a price of $2.49, you are losing money not picking it up. And that's it for the Halloween special. This video is definitely not a cheap attempt to cover over the fact that I completely ruined the audio for the Far Cry 5 video I've been working on for months now, and which has consumed almost all of my incredibly limited free time. Anyway, take care.